Oba Femi and Jey Uso is starting things off on the first hour, which was airing on ESPN in the US. And it is a total babyface reaction for Jey Uso, complete with yeeting, high-fiving Michael Cole and Corey Graves as he arrives. Like, this was the most babyface Jey Uso of this run. As he makes his way into the ring, runs it back again, and then Oba's music begins after this long pause to build up the Oba chants. And he comes out, and we have, as Michael Cole identifies him, referee Daryl Sharma. This is the most interesting referee because on the main roster, he is usually referred to as Daryl Sharma. In NXT, Adrian Butler. So maybe this is a Dave Earl Hebner situation that we don't realize there are actually two Sharmas that are in WWE. Or maybe one Sharma, one Butler, and they're two different people, and Michael Cole's the only one that pays attention to that.
Very possible. Or maybe the commentators on the main roster just simply don't know his wrestler name.
I mean, to the average fan, I believe they saw this guy on SmackDown Friday night in London. It was like, it has to be two different people, right?
Must be, yeah.
Yes. Mm-hmm. Okay. That's my referee analysis of this match. So we begin. Not a very long match that this was. Oba attacked him with a shoulder breaker and goes for a choke slam, which Jey avoids. And his offense consisted of super kicks and then more super kicks. He lands the Uso splash. Oba kicks out at the count of 1, grabbing him by the throat. And this time hits the choke slam, but Oba runs the ropes into 3 consecutive super kicks. But then he fires back after he ends up taking the Uso splash again, but Jey is hurt, cannot go for the cover. He eventually hits another Uso splash. Oba kicks out, and Jey applies the rear naked choke. And as Oba is going to fight his way to his feet, he slaps the mat. And Jey has now taken to Instagram stories to outline that Oba tapped.
Oh, okay. That's what he's doing.
I mean, it did. I mean, if you were paying attention to it, like, he is slapping the mat to like rally himself to get to his feet. So he gets thrown away, eats one more super kick, and then it's uppercuts, launches Jey, and fall from grace. 7 minutes and 55 seconds where Oba Femi wins and now gets his choice of champion at SummerSlam, unless they do some detour with Brock Lesnar.
Mm-hmm. I thought the match was good. It was simple in construction. It's a match that I think would otherwise be a pretty typical David Goliath type of match, but because the audience is so vocal with their love of Oba Femi, I found it pretty effective in, just whatever dynamic they're trying to, work here. I think, to me, Jey represented a good choice to oppose Oba for several reasons. One, he's a former champion, so you can have Oba defeating a former champion. Number 2, he's a direct narrative path to Roman Reigns, who is the suspected, opponent for Oba Femi. And I also think, most importantly, Jey Uso currently represents a threat to the audience because he is somebody who I think the audience perceives as overpushed. So there's always the threat that he will be booked to win. And that is something that this audience, at least online, really does not want to see anymore with Jey Uso. So that, I thought, all made the match more compelling, and I thought it made Oba Femi a more sort of, attractive, in some ways, you could even say underdog, just given the history and the audience's, at least again, the online audience's lack of want of a Jey Uso win. So they did give Jey a little bit more offense than typical for an Oba match, I felt, but it was certainly still enough to make Oba look, I thought, impressively dominant by the end.
Yeah. I mean, the match was okay. It was sort of the purpose that it got. I think, Jey got a great reaction coming out. Oba got a big reaction. I think they saw it as a, important match with stakes attached to it. And we'll get into more about kind of the follow-up with Oba Femi that they're dangling of who he is going to choose for SummerSlam. Nick Aldis presents the crown to Oba, and then Byron Saxon interviews him, and he said he has gone from ruler to king. And Jey, you couldn't beat fate, and you can't beat me. He is one of one, the mountain you cannot climb, and that you cannot conquer.
Right. So no mention of either Roman nor Brock, saving that for Raw, you would assume. I find it super awkward that they hand them the crowns and none of them put them on their heads. So that's a clear direction of some sort that Levesque doesn't want you to wear the crown or something.
Yeah.
Maybe because like they think it looks silly, or he thinks it looks silly. But like, why not just put the crown on a trophy or something if you're going to treat it just like a trophy? You know, like imagine handing somebody a hat and just,
How about
they
like
just end up holding it.
what if they gave him a plaque or a jacket or a ring? I guess the king of the ring connotates that we must have a crown.
Yeah, I know. But if you're not going to be able to wear it, like, put it
Are we
on
going to
a
see these
stand.
crowns after tonight? Do they
You're
make their way
gonna-
back to the U.S.?
You'll see it on Monday, maybe. You'll see it on Tuesday. You'll see it on maybe a podium, like when the winner wrestles or something.
What if Brock steals the crown? And this is like Money in the Bank, where if you don't have the crown, you can't get the title shot, and therefore Oba has to face Brock at SummerSlam to get his crown back to get his title match.
Well, I think that'd be awful, but
Wasn't that the rule with the briefcase? The briefcase was stolen. You needed to get it back.
sure, yeah, yeah.
Maybe
I
there's a
think those are
QR
awful,
code
too.
inside this king crown that gets you your title match, gets you access into the U.S. Bank Stadium.
Right. Well, maybe he should wear it then. He won't lose it.
Okay.
Seth getting the win, you would think that he's got something big lined up for SummerSlam.
Oh, I think
Right?
for sure. I think that was the whole purpose of this. Is he's probably in line for. But he's probably getting a title match at SummerSlam. I think that's a very.
So what, Roman?
I think it's possible. Yeah. Like if Oba's
So what
not
about-
facing.
Okay. So what are you thinking? Oba, Brock, and then somehow the Roman match is not. What is that?
I don't know. I don't know where all this lands, but Seth going over is, to me, it has to set up the big match, and that's the match that that Rollins is building towards. He did his interview afterwards, so I mean, you can go with Oba and Roman, but you know, Seth needs a really big match now, and Zayn doesn't feel like it.
Well, who's the big match for Seth other than Roman? Like, who are his opponents? Who are his targets other
That's
than
it.
Roman?
Like he's basically like in the post show, he said, I came back to dismantle the Vision. I'm moving on from the Vision, and the only goal I have is getting the title I never lost.
Okay. So that would leave either a three-way involving Oba Femi, which I think would kill the King of the Ring idea if you have a guy go through a tournament just to be able to enter a three-way, or it would be Oba versus Cody instead.
Yeah. Well, no, Oba and Sammy now.
Sorry, Sammy, you're right. Yeah, Oba Sammy.
I guess the other question is, A, can you see them doing SummerSlam in Minneapolis without Brock?
No.
And if not Oba, who are you putting with Brock on that show?
Well, it'd have to be Brock, but why? But how
mean
would you? How would you have? Sorry, what?
You're saying it would have to be with Oba? Or
Yeah.
so I mean, something has to give here. I mean, there's only so many options of, like, you can't put Oba in 5 different matches at SummerSlam. You've got
All
to pick.
Oba Femi.
I don't even think we're getting 2 matches with Oba over SummerSlam. Like, you've got to pick one match for this guy. So it's either Roman or it's Brock. I think those are your 2 options for Oba. I don't see Oba and Sammy. I don't think that feels very weird. Like, those are the 2 options that I think you have, and you're either doing this Roman match and you hold off on Brock and that's down the road, or you do something to get in the way of Oba getting this title match, with the idea of him chasing being something we want to draw out for longer. Mm-hmm. And if that's the case, then I see Rollins with Roman.
Yeah, very possible.
And I think we should have this match pretty much finalized on Monday. Like, wouldn't you want that title match figured out by Monday? They have a lot of tickets to move for SummerSlam, and I would want to have that title match known on Monday, and the following week is that Chicago Raw, and I guess we'll be curious to see if, like, Punk is there to shoot whatever angle he's doing, if his horse is not too sick.
Yeah. Hopefully, he's got some good horse medicine.
One other thing is, like, wherever all of this lands, is that coming out of this, like, everyone has seen Oba Femi win this King of the Ring, where it is, hey, you get a title shot at SummerSlam. You're really dangling this Roman Reigns match, and it's not to say you can't make people wait for it, but I think there will be a disappointment if that's not the match at SummerSlam and you have the idea of holding this off to a bigger show, because you've kind of dangled like that. I think we'd agree that's the biggest match WWE has among their active roster to put together. And the question becomes, like, what is the best place to put that on? I think if you are going to shift Oba to a Brock or away from that Roman match, you better have a hell of a explanation to do that. I just think there's going to be some natural, it's going to take some of the air out of those that are looking at this match and potentially getting it at SummerSlam.
Yeah. I am more so thinking now about just Oba calling his shot on Raw and beating Sami Zayn for the championship, and that would, I mean, kind of kill the sort of like expectation of an Oba versus Roman match, right? And I certainly think like the audience wouldn't be upset about it because they get to see Sami Zayn. Well, Oba Femi as a champion, and then you just kind of open the path to Brock being his sole focus, you know.
And does Brock come back with Heyman? Because Heyman's been off since that barricade spot. He's been off from the Vision.
I would imagine.
I still feel we get to Oba and Brock in some form or fashion at SummerSlam. It just seems to be the logical destination to finish off that trilogy.
Yeah.
It's July on the Post Wrestling Cafe, and that means our extensive G1 coverage begins starting July 11th. We're going to have reviews of every single G1 card right up to and including the finals in the middle of August. Plus, Rewind Away takes a look at 2 episodes of Heels. We're also going to be going back to 2005 for a review of WrestleMania 21, and it is the start of our double shot episodes covering this season of Dark Side of the Ring. Plus, we are going to dive into the 3rd season of WWE Unreal. All that and so much more can be yours by signing up to the Post Wrestling Cafe. It gets you XL editions of Rewind to Raw, Dynamite, and SmackDown, Collision Course on a weekly basis, MCU later, and so much more.